This segment is sponsored by Weed-Corley-Fish. Whether you're planning a funeral or cremation service for a loved one, you want to remember them in a meaningful way. Brianna Ballinger with Weed-Corley-Fish Funeral Homes and Cremation Services, a Dignity Memorial provider, is with us today to share more. Brianna, good morning.
Good morning, Rosie. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here, Brianna. Let's talk about how traditions are starting to change a little bit. More people are starting to choose a celebration of life. What does that mean?
To celebrate a loved one through a unique and memorable way. Our highly trained team, they're going to listen to every family's needs so that way we can replicate and reflect their loved one's legacy. Our goal is to celebrate, whether it be a traditional service or through a celebratory event that will create some fellowship and also bring a sense of feeling.
Let's talk about the sorts of things that we would expect to see at a celebration of life, because I don't think I've attended one.
When attending a celebration of life, you can definitely anticipate to see a unique and tailored, individualized service every time.
You actually have a wonderful example of that. You just did one recently that really touched a family.
We did. I was honored to help create their loved one's life story. Their loved one had a great passion for ballroom dancing. Oh. We asked the family to bring their ballroom gowns and we displayed them beautifully with their photos and their awards. Our team transformed the chapel to look like a ballroom venue. The family even asked all the guests attending to wear their favorite ballroom gowns. And then we ended the service with their loved one's favorite dance.
That's wonderful. And it's, I think, a really good example for those of us who don't know a whole lot about it, about how personalized, how individualized this sort of service can be, because it ends up kind of sounding a little bit more like a party than a funeral.
Our goal is to make a mournful time become more of an uplifting experience.
So when people want to get started, they want to hear a little bit more about the services y'all offer, what happens when they walk through the door?
We greet the family at our door in our lobby, and we take them on a tour throughout our funeral home so we can show them our different venues that can reflect their loved one's legacy. During the tour, we get to know and we question and listen to their needs and learn about their loved ones so we can build their loved one's life story. There's a beautiful example of a life story in our venue that can reflect their loves.
Well, Brianna, I know traditionally people have gotten together to break bread after a funeral or cremation service, and even with shifting kind of values, is it still important for people to get together for a meal?
Absolutely, Rosie. Food always brings families together. In fact, when listening to a family's needs, we are able to make personal recommendations on what their favorite foods were and make that offering. Our caterer has a variety of menus from tapas to a sit-down meal that we can offer every family.
If people are watching today, you know, it's hard to think about the end of the line, but the truth is, you know, we've got to be a little bit practical about it, and you want your celebration to really reflect you. So how do we express to our loved ones our final wishes? How do we communicate that well?
A lot of families have a misconception that a will has all of their loved ones' wishes. And in fact, a will just has an individual's estate lined out. It does not have their wishes whether they want to be buried or cremated. I highly recommend that you ask your families what their wishes are and you document them and then communicate them to the rest of the family.
Not only that, you have resources at Weed-Corley-Fish to help people kind of get started on that journey.
We do. We have our Insider's Guide to Funeral and Cremation Planning that will help our families with the pre-planning process.
Brianna, can you explain the importance of financing those plans in advance?
Absolutely. Pre-planning in advance is the best gift a family can leave their loved ones. Number one, it relieves the burden of making all of these important decisions when death occurs. Number two, it makes good financial sense. Families can take advantage of freezing our costs with growing inflation.
And not only that, there's a transferability here because people may move, especially towards the end of their lives, to be closer to loved ones.
We have 100% transferability within our Dignity Memorial Network, and what that means is when families want to move closer to their grandkids, their policies move with them, and any one of our 2,200 locations throughout the United States, along with Canada, will honor them.
Sounds good to me. Brianna, thank you so much for the education this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Rosie.
You can download a free guide to start the process of planning your celebration of life at dignitymemorial.com/details. This segment is sponsored by Weed-Corley-Fish.